What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back, and we're talking a little transfer news, rumors, and everything else in between. We got I would say, a credible link to an incoming, but yeah, we'll speak about that in a bit. Also, as well, the goings on around the league, and I also want to talk about the kind of recruitment that we need to get because we're seeing all these big name players linked with the club, but sometimes it doesn't take that. People, sometimes you can go low and get absolute quality. But listen, before I get into it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. And listen, I did a video earlier in regards to the Jorginho video for Brighton and everything else. So if you haven't checked that one out, go and check that one out. That will be on the channel from earlier on today. Sean is saying, what's good? I'm good today, sure. Yeah, man. Yesterday I was a little unsettled, but today much better today. And that's how it should be. Wake up with a new perspective, new day, and you go again. Glenda here saying, yes, KG, been a while since I caught you live. Yes, I'm live and direct. Let's go. McAllister, please, some good news from the main man. Well, McAllister, it all depends, right? It all depends. Let's see what we're saying. Joe Donahue, as confirmed earlier, we've been hearing about Manuel Benson for a little bit, but Joe Donahue, from his club sources and maybe from the Burnley side as well, has confirmed that there is interest in Burnley winger Manuel Benson. Says the interest is genuine. The Burnley need to offload players before the deadline for PSR purposes, but divisional rival tag not likely to help Leeds. The inquiries were made for Feyenoord, Calvin Stengs, but he's told he's unavailable. Now, obviously, Manuel Benson. Oh, and just on Burnley, just let me get this one out of the way while we're here. Burnley as well are a club that have got a decent squad, but they've also got players that are being picked off right now. No, Sanderberg is going Fulham. Dara O'Shea looked like he might have been going Brentford, but it looks like Wolves are stepping in for him. So look out for that. And Vitinho could be moving back to Brazil. But, this report from David Anderson said that that's possibly not happening. But we know what happens between now and the end of the window. So, not everyone is settled. We are not the only team, people, but of course, settle your stuff in house and get your stuff done, of course. But let's go back to Manuel Benson, man, because I think people think that Manuel Benson is like maybe 22, 23. I think that must be it. This guy's 27 years old. And listen, I'm going to just say this now. I'm not wowed by this at all. This is the kind of signing that you make if you still had all your big hitters like Somerville, Jorginho, Dan James, Willie Nonto, and then you sign a Benson as insurance. One of those, you just sign him as like a 2 million insurance, and then when you go up, you can get him off your books, loan him out somewhere, no problem. Because let me just tell you this from now. He is not a Premier League player in any shape, way, or form. Manuel Benson is not a Premier League player, so there's no point even thinking about that. This will be just for the Championship only. I mean, and that's how it looks. It's and Luke, that's what it is for me. It's underwhelming, is probably being polite in what I would say. This is just, it does nothing for me. Now, is he a good option at this level? He could be. Last time he was here, he scored 11 goals. But guys, I need to make this. I need to flag these things with you, because I thought it was really weird, his goal total, his assist total, and considering he spent a large part of his career out in Belgium, I thought, nah, how has he done this? Because you look here, apart from one stint in the Belgian second division, this guy hasn't touched 20 starts in his career. Not touched 20 starts. And you think, is he injury prone? Well, no, he's not really, because the last big injury he had, where he missed a bunch of games, was in 2021. And that was 18 games missed. Before that, it was 11 games in 18-19. So the guy is an injury hit. He must be, have consistency issues. That can all it can be, because why would a player at 27 years old not even accumulate multiple 30 start seasons? It makes no sense to me. Yeah, Deshaun stuck in the mud signing. Yeah, I honestly, I hope that it doesn't happen. There is interest from Sunderland and Norwich. I would much prefer that to happen. I hope Burnley see us as a threat and say, no, we don't want to let him go to Leeds. But I'll switch it around on that. If Burnley, who do see us as a threat for promotion, say, hey, Leeds, take Manuel Benson, What does that say about Manuel Benson? What does that say? And I put that question out to you to answer in the comments. Okay, I just put that back out to you. But when you just look at his career, never mind the starts. Let's go for the goals and assists. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. The Burnley season aside before they went up, which he was, decent. He was good, decent. That's it. The rest of it, these are meaty numbers, and he's been playing in Belgium, people. Hey, but yeah, he was a non-factor in the Premier League. I remember seeing him open up. Listen, Vincent Company's style of play has got a lot to be desired, but he wasn't up for the Premier League, and it was quite evident in that year last season. Wilf here saying 49ers thinking just get someone in to appease the fans. And Wilf, I hope that doesn't work. And it won't work for me. Listen, you know that won't work for me. This is what happens though with football clubs. We see it all the time. Get some signings in, get some signings in. We come down to the last couple of days, and guess what happens? They sign any old thing, and the fans are going, ah, thank God we signed some players, not even looking deeper into it and thinking, is this player actually going to be any good for us? Well, I don't do that, and I will be judging it in the full picture come the end of the window. They've still got time. They've still got time, people. John H says he seems like a better version of Helder Costa. You know what, Helder Costa was better, and that's saying something, isn't it? But Helder Costa at Wolves was a fixture in that team. He was brilliant. Just came to Leeds and does what a lot of players do, and just became meek. He was weak, wasn't he? Was weak. Always remember that with Helder Costa when Rafinha came in and just took his spot, snatched his chain, and Rafinha was missing for a game. And you're thinking, Helder Costa, show what you're about. And he was crap, wasn't he? He was crap. But yeah, John Habit here saying, and shout out to you, John, and thank you for keeping it clean, John. I see you sometimes your comments come through on the chat, on the comments in the video, but you use like profane language. I can't have that on the YouTube thing, and YouTube will just delete it anyway. So just try and write clean. But I love you, John. You know that. Not happy with this cheap and desperate 49ers. Get a grip and spend the money. We want quality players, not bottom of the barrel. Yeah, and LUFC Ryan. This is another great point, because I was literally thinking this, Ryan, early when I saw it. I was like, is he better than Jane Anthony? And that's what Ryan's asking here. The fact that we're having to ask these kind of questions, and I'm asking you questions that I've asked you today, kind of shows that this is a basement level signing. I just couldn't imagine us going to Sheffield United or Burnley and saying, here's one of our better players for you. I don't even think we would sell a Joe Gelhardt to Burnley or Sheffield United. So I don't know why we would accept Manuel Benson at Leeds United. Now, like I say, if they think he's the right man, if Daniel Farke thinks he's got the stardust to help him out, and the deal isn't too expensive, you can kind of live with it as long as it gives you a lot of budget for another central midfielder and another fullback. But yeah, I got to say, people, this does not do anything for me. But if it does something for you, let me know in the comments, especially with after all the information I've given in this one. Luke, I'm going to go on to that in a bit, Luke. Let me just go to the next bit. No, in fact, you know what? I will go on to the next bit. Luke here saying, don't know why we can't go to the continent with this world-class Red Bull recruitment. I think he's being funny there, Luke, but this is something I wanted to move on to, because these are the things we've been talking about. We've been speaking about getting signings in that you don't necessarily have to know. We've spoken about this in detail. Rafinha, even Gruev last year. Loads of these signings, people in the Premier League that play in the Premier, and people looking at them like, who are these people? Who was Rodri before he was molded under Pep and everything else like that? Good player before. Now you've seen the full, fruits of Rodri. You get it all the time. You don't always have to know a player. And there was one player in particular that sticks out in my head where you think, man, where did they get him from? And it was Leicester with Riyad Mahrez, 450,000 from a League Deux team. He wasn't even in Ligue 1, he was in Ligue 2. He was in the second division, second tier of French football. And look at the talent that Riyad Mahrez was. Jamie Vardy being from non-league, that's a rarity, to get a non-league and hit like a Jamie Vardy, Ollie Watkins. Yeah, that's a bigger risk, but every signing is a risk. Every single one, even if you think someone's a slam dunk. Some would even say with Joel Peru, 16 million, 22 goals before, 22 goals a year before as well. That's a slam dunk to get you goals. Well, we've seen it doesn't always work out that way, depending on the system, depending on the manager. But if you can go to the continent, And I'm not saying you can only have to spend 450,000, but you can spend like 3-4 million, and you're probably getting someone even better. I mean, way better than Manuel Benson. And I just feel like we should be exploiting and utilizing that market so much more. Kante, another one, perfect, Bobby and Nathan, who mentioned that. Matoma from Darren Wong. The list goes on, people. There's more of these kind of players that we'll speak about than ones that you think are proven and all that stuff, and they cost big money and don't deliver to the price tag. I'm cool with it. I would love to do a signing video where we've signed a winger from a league that we're not too familiar with. The whole comment section is like, who is this? 49ers do it on the cheap. Then he comes out and becomes a bad boy. I would love that. And listen, all the people in the comments that would be moaning would actually be loving it if they were wrong. And I would just assume that, being Leeds United fans. But I'm saying that this is the way that we should go for me. Seeing Jack Clarke, and I want to speak about him now. I'm just rolling this in here. We're just going with the docket today. You know, seeing Jack Clarke being quoted at 25, who knows what Manuel Benson will cost? But we're seeing Ian Harte not only on his Instagram but on his Twitter. He's showcasing his player. As we know, Ian Harte is Jack Clarke's agent. And I think Ian Harte, and just judging by the Sunderland fans' comments, saying, yeah, we know you want Jack to leave. You're the worst in the world and everything else like that. But I think, 25 million for Jack Clarke is far too much for me. But it's one of those things where you need Jack Clarke to make a little bit of noise and say, listen, I want to leave, and see where he ends up. But I think Ian Harte is either showcasing these kind of stats for Leeds United, maybe even for a Premier League team, because he's probably looking at the list and saying, look, apart from Joel Peru, who's with us, Josh Sargent, who's still at Norwich, everyone else in this list is now playing in a top league, or has earned a move or promotion to a top league. Why are you not taking the guy who's number one to be in a top league? And that's his job as an agent. It's a dirty game, people. I know people don't like it, but that is his job. That is what he's trying to do. He's trying to get Jack Clarke another move to the next level, as he probably sees Sunderland isn't sufficient. Yeah, Nathan, he's PIMP. Yeah, listen, that's what he does. He does that. I've seen him do it with a couple of his other clients, but obviously Jack Clarke is probably his actual jewel. So it could be one of those where he's looking for a Premier League team to say, look, you spent money on Somerville, you spent money on Jorginho. Look at Jack Clarke. He's here. He's still 23, going on 24 November. Take a chance. Or is it for the benefit of Leeds United? We shall see. Ian saying, remember when he came back on loan, it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work the second time. That's what I'm saying. If we were to get Jack Clarke, it really would be a third time a charm, because for me, even in his first stint, he wasn't all that. But we know that when you have a couple of good games for Leeds United, especially when they're televised, that your stock goes higher. And I think we actually got more of a deal. We actually ripped Tottenham off in that one. The joke is, though, if we do get Jack Clarke back, I think Tottenham are owed a bit of a percentage, so we're probably going to give him some money back. So there you go. We can never do it, can we? We never just get the rub of the green both ways. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see with Jack Clarke, as I say. But it's very interesting that Ian Harte, who is his agent, ex-legend for me. I'll never tell you who's a legend for you, but Ian Harte is a legend to me. And just see him showcasing his client here. Mr. Ripper saying, have we got a 25 mil spend limit? I don't know what our limit is, Mr. Ripper, and no one else does, in all fairness. But what I will say is it's the same thing I've said before, but just because we've got 25 million and Sunderland say Jack Clarke is 25 million doesn't mean that we think he's 25 million. Doesn't mean the 49ers are looking at it saying this would be money well invested. I think we should look elsewhere. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, but just because a club is saying that they want a certain amount and you've got it, doesn't mean that you should spend it. But we are coming to and also as well, what I always think with that, and I'll make it clear, it's not coming out of my pocket, so it doesn't concern me. What concerns me is if you're spending 25 million on one player, I would guess that leaves very little to get in that fullback, to get in that central midfielder and another attacker, because we need at least four. And I'm being generous with four people, because for me, we needed two to replace Somerville, which we haven't done, and we need two to replace Jorginho. And even before then, Daniel Farke was talking about a fullback and a central midfielder too. So we need quality bodies in there, not just bodies. We need quality bodies in there. Bobby, shout out to you, Bobby. Our spend limit is a tenner, I think. Tremendous. Tremendous. So yeah, people, that's basically it. And yeah, Luke, this is it, Luke. Leeds interested United FC. I know, I absolutely get it. And I get this, and I get the cynicism. I do. I absolutely understand. Thing with the 49ers, what is it? They got 10 days left. They can still pull a few rabbits out the hat. Daniel Farker, on the other hand, he needs to get a result on Friday. And look, we'll preview the Sheffield Wednesday game in the coming days after he does his press conference. Deshaun saying, as you said, we never replace Ian Hart. No true word spoke. Yeah, we'd never have. We'd never have. There's not one player in that spot. And who can you think that's been our best left back overall in terms of quality? I'm not talking about a personality and shaking a tunnel. All right. I'm talking about in terms of footballing ability. Who would you say left back? What, Charlie Taylor? He's not a patch on what Ian Hart was. There's no one. There's no one. I can't even think of one, in fact. Uh, Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Has Doig not moved yet? I have not. I haven't looked, Robert. I've kind of taken my eye off Josh Doig. I don't know if he's moved or not, so I couldn't tell you. Oh my days! You guys are funny, you know. Nah, this is crazy. Uh, Leaf Davis. Well, hey, funny one with that Leaf Davis though, isn't it? Because no, I'm not going to get into it. It just riles people up, and I'm not in the mood for that. Bob is saying here, what do you make of Brighton's? I don't think he was linked, Bob. I'm going to be honest. I think that was one that fans just threw in because we were losing Jorginho, and they kind of figured that we can get someone on loan from Brighton. I don't think he was ever. I haven't seen a concrete link from him. I've only seen it from fans talking about him. So I'm not really going to drop a comment on that one, I'm afraid. But yeah, Lee scored an OG for us, and we're still going to get promoted. Crazy, is it? But yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying in regards to that. And look, Sky Bet. I mean, everyone's doing it, and it kind of escaped me as well with this one. The transfer fees received. I completely forgot that the 20 million for Sinistera was in this summer because I forgot that we completed the deal. Was it? It was after the January transfer window, wasn't it? And that's why the Sinistera money was this summer. It completely slipped my mind. But you know, we have received a lot of money, and when you look at the next best receivers of money, let me just make that clear. Uh, it's Aston Villa, and you know there was a lot of sweetheart deals in there. You know there was that little circle of Premier League clubs doing deals amongst each other with youngsters and doing that, getting their books in order. But you know, look how much money we've raked in, and I've already made it clear. It's not about me seeing a chunk of that money going out. Invest it wisely, invest the money wisely, and get in some gems that can help this football team, and more importantly, that can help this manager. Because I think this team is fine, needs additions, but this manager needs to help more importantly. And as long as you're sticking with Daniel Farker, he's going to need the individual quality on the team. He needs it. He absolutely needs it. Another coach could probably use this team and get the best out of them. He needs individual quality to help him through, and that is just the way it is. Man said 80 White, you know. Oh my days, a blast from the past. Oh man. Andy saying, KG, I love you, man. For a year, I thought I was blocked. You can't be blocked, Andy. You're in the chat right now, my man. So yeah, you're not blocked on here. Uh, Lee saying here nearly the amount they said we owed. Yeah, and that's another thing as well. And just before we close this one, like we say, this is another one. We're here for a good time, not a long time again today. But people saying just pay the money for Jack Clarke. Say people are saying pay the money for Jack Clarke, 25 million. We need players, get them in. These will be the same people that would have been complaining about all the money we owe for Brendan Aronson, for Rasmus Christiansen, and paying ridiculous fees for these players. And we're still paying the price for those now. It isn't about that. You've got to be smarter with the transfer business. And hopefully that's what the 49ers are doing. But look, we will judge this in full when we do the transfer window roundup. Can't wait for that. Hopefully it's on a better vibe than what we're feeling now. Gotta say, it's not been pleasurable doing these last few videos, but I can only give you what is out there as news. That's what I'm saying. Uh let's see. Steven saying creativity is all we need. Um no, creativity and a shooter for me, Stephen. I think we need more shooters, and even with Manuel Benson, look, 11 goals in that last championship season was cool, but he's more primarily a someone that's going to create. I feel like we need a couple more shooters in the team. We've already seen that we've got enough people that can drift it in the box, you know, put a through ball in. Well, Rutter's gone, but you know, there's people that can pass the ball efficiently. We need some people that can shoot on sight. That's what it is for me. Man said, "Is Kilkenny available?" Oh man, that is funny, man. But look, people, I hope you've enjoyed the latest update. Look, I'm sorry the name isn't more exciting than Manuel Benson, but listen, maybe it is exciting for you. Maybe you're looking forward to a Burnley cast off coming to Leeds United, and if you are, please do mention it in the comments. Before you go, hit the like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video, people. Peace out.